This is Nathaniel Cogley.
And this is Eric Morrow. This week on Cogley and Morrow on Politics. Published this past week in the Washington Examiner, so national attention coverage here, as you do also with some of your opportunities to speak on syndicated radio shows and offering different perspectives on some of the current issues. And this article, I think, is right in line with what we do with our show. Why are we doing this for the people that we've elected to office? Why are we pointing out to them something that should be very, very relevant in this process? And this, I think, kind of shows you where the politics gets mixed in with all of this, the political theater, as we've said, with the impeachment process, and whichever side you're on, whether you like Trump or not, whether you think he's an effective or quality president or not, wherever that is, there's still a place for examining the central issues and what determines how a process like this either works or is even necessary at all. Respondents on Facebook who asked the question, why hasn't this come up in the impeachment hearings? And so I kind of asked that. I mean, that does make sense. Why? And I'm not sure that I've even heard it from the Republican side as a defense of the president, which you would think, okay, they could go to something like this and say, look, this is all ridiculous. We could have handled this in Congress through a legal process that's already in place.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was just not hearing this in any debate, and there are a lot of thoughts I have that have been echoed elsewhere. But this was one I kept saying on some of my radio guest appearances elsewhere, and no one seemed to get it or follow through, and I never heard it in the discussions. And in the testimony this week, we really hear they're trying to see, is there evidence that President Trump was linking an investigation to releasing the funds?
We see it overshadowing the election already, and we're moving into that election cycle where many are going to be pointing to, especially Republicans, I think, back to Democrats, saying, well, we could have been focused on policy and the good of the country while you were all wrapped up in this impeachment inquiry. Saying all that to bring it back to the steps that could have been done or taken by Trump and his administration that may have shielded them more from this and affirmed what the president was doing, whatever his intentions were.
In the previous episode, we looked at, are others going to get into the race, into this Democratic nomination process for president? I think specifically we spoke about potentially Hillary Clinton in there. But we have seen over the last couple weeks 2 significant people announce that, yes, they are going to jump into this race.
Work that we're doing does that. It challenges them to think about what has influenced you to see the world the way you do, what knowledge, information, tools can you use to engage with current issues, elements and aspects of our society that are related to government, and then how do you form really quality opinion about what you think government should do or not do. And so on one sense it seems kind of simplistic, but on the other hand it's very much in line with, I think, what we see in the past of those who really gave direction to our democracy and how they wanted the masses to be engaged in that process. Yes, I noticed this week how much I'm beginning to feel like a radio personality after 10 shows. There must be a threshold there somewhere.
Cogley and Morrow on Politics, the new podcast from Tarleton Radio and KTRL 90.5 FM. That's every Sunday at 1 o'clock, wherever you get your podcasts.